Happy 2026. Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of the Creatives Podcast. We are coming to you as Fred and Shaggy, also known as Simone, Campbell,
and Tevin Brown.
Fantastic. And today we have on a co-founder, occasional producer, and proud member of Dust Wave Media, local film collective. Thank you so much for being with us, Alonso Indacochea. No. I instantly forgot it. Can you please say it for the camera right here?
Alonso Indacochea, but Alonso is totally fine.
Fantastic.
It's all good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us. We really appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. So we always like to start off by learning a little bit more about your origin story and how the film collective came to be.
My origin story is too long, but I ended up in New Mexico in 2012. My wife got a job at UNM. And so we've been here since then. Lived all over the East Coast. I'm Peruvian originally. Came to this country when I was 5. So lived all over the place. Ended up in New Mexico. Started a software company randomly in 2015. Sold the software company in 2019. And then one of my co-founders, suddenly we kind of had a lot more time. When you run a company, it consumes your whole life. Mm-hmm. And so then we had a lot more time, and both of us are a little crazy, and we thought, hey, we love movies, been talking about movies, wouldn't it be cool to make movies, wouldn't it be cool to do this and that? And so we're both a little crazy, and we were like, okay, why don't we try to make movies? And so then he bought a bunch of equipment and started this like podcast with his friends, and I bought like an editing PC and just started writing scripts. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Then the pandemic happened. So then we started live streaming stuff. So we were all over Twitch and kind of learned. Honestly, that was a little bit of a boot camp of just learning how to shoot stuff for recording on Twitch. Mm-hmm. We did a YouTube show that was super fun where we made drinks from movies. So anyway, then we first vaccine came out. Shout out to the Homeboy Network for getting vaccinated quickly. Mm-hmm. But then at that point we were just kind of like, we don't know what's going to happen in the world. So if we're actually going to do this, we really need to do this. So we shot, the first thing we shot, I think was in June of 2021. And then started writing, shooting more things. And then we got into, we did the 48-hour film project in 2021. Yeah. Which was no expectations, had never done it before, didn't know what the hell we were doing. We got genre assigned to us that was mockumentary. And so we were very excited to shoot some really cool action something and all this slick stuff that we thought we knew how to do. And then we got mockumentary, and initially we were disappointed, and thankfully we did get mockumentary because it allowed us to just focus on, like, instead of a bunch of fancy camera work, like just handheld, right? Mm-hmm. And then it allows us to focus on just trying to make it funny.
Oh yeah.
Because if you're not making people laugh and you're making a mockumentary, you're losing. So something came out of that made some people laugh, and we ended up winning Best Film. Like zero expectations. We were just like, okay, maybe we know something. And so after that, we kept shooting stuff. We started meeting people in the community. There's like believe it or not, a thriving like DIY indie film community in Albuquerque. Mm-hmm. And so did 48 Hour again the next year in 2022, met even more people. And out of that came this idea of a film collective where we kind of mutually, there's a mutual aid sort of format, and we support each other to make our own creative projects. To this point, all of them have been short films, but now we've made over 30. And the last 4 years. I have been a producer on many of them, mostly because I just from business world and stuff like that know how to manage budgets and keep things organized and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I've also written, directed, believe it or not, performed. I'm a terrible actor. I always tell the crew hey, if I'm in front of the camera, we're losing, guys. But yeah, I've done that and all sorts of other roles. Again, it's all folks in Albuquerque, Santa Fe area, and we just help each other in each other's movies. We do events. we do fundraisers, we do screenings, we do crowdfunding to just have the resources to make our stuff. And now we have a new studio space between 7th and 8th and Haynes, pretty close by here.
Awesome.
And yeah, that takes us probably to the present.
Heck yeah.
Quite a journey.
I know. I was like, that was my best attempt at like keeping it in 5 minutes.
Yeah, fantastic Spark Notes. I'm impressed.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
No, that was incredible, and it's also incredible to hear you kind of really forefront and started everything 2021, and now even to 2026, like having your own studio and like having like already created more than 30 projects and everything. Was there ever a moment, because it's always like, we always ask like about that scary leap, but you kind of already took that initial leap when you had started your own software company, so it was a secondary scary leap, but what was that moment where it was, like that moment where you kind of like take a step back from like the madness and you're like, holy shit, like.
I mean, I feel like that's a daily ritual. I mean, like my life since 2015 has been a bunch of scary, like, you know, I don't know what I'm doing, but like, you know, the thing, here's the thing, right? It's like, so like before I did all this stuff, I think I was pretty unhappy just personally, like in my professional life, right? Like I was like a project manager at a not-for-profit, and I definitely, and all sorts of other little side jobs and things, and some of them were more fulfilling than others, but like you realize like I want my productivity to mean something, like I want it to like make an impact on people's lives. I want it to be something that I can like, you know, have a passion for. And so, and you know, I think especially from those days, I got sick of just being around reasonable people. And so, like, the answer to that is like, you know, you don't have to follow every rabbit hole, but like, sometimes you get the idea like, okay, everyone says this, but I kind of think this, and then how do you test that? How do you see if what you think is real? And you know, you're wrong a lot of times, so you have to figure out how to build a filter for like all the crazy and like preserve like the crazy, but it actually might work. So that's kind of been my life. Like every day I think, like we did a screening just privately in our studio of this wonderful Japanese movie from the 80s called Tampopo. It's about making ramen at a high level. And it's a movie I loved since I was in college. And so now we have like a space where like we can have like 30 people to watch a weird Japanese movie from the 80s.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, you definitely sit back and you're like, damn, this is pretty damn cool. But the journey is just like all the work, applying for grants, doing crowdfunding campaigns, making movies where you barely know what the hell you're doing. You know, I mean, I just think about all these different projects where, like, we tried something really, really new. Like, we did like a kind of Godzilla, Power Rangers, Ultraman style, like, robot fighting lizard thing where we built the whole set out of cardboard, and like, just you start thinking about those things and you're like, I mean, I don't even know how the hell did we do that? But it was also just like, when you're unburdened by reasonable people, and there's not really anyone to be like, nah, you can't do that. It's kind of amazing what you can do, especially when it's like together with other people, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. At that point, you're unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, that's like every project. Like I think one of the things that drives every project is like, what are we going to do different? Like, what are we going to do new to us, or new to the world? Like, we just had a project where we shot it, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, and it was all complex ballet choreography that was part of the story, and we had never done that before. And thankfully, one of our people knew the director of the New Mexico Ballet Company, and she volunteered to choreograph the whole thing. And so, like, you know, here's something else I love about New Mexico and I love about Albuquerque. Everyone knows everyone. You know, people are all about like helping each other out. I lived in Philadelphia before, and that is not the culture out there. Is a different culture. I mean, Philly's cool for a lot of different reasons, but that's not
One of them.
that's not one of them for sure.
No.
So like out here, like yeah, everyone knows everyone. People know each other. Like you reach out and like there's a lot of favors like exchanged, and so like that's like another thing about New Mexico. It's just like anything is possible. There's like nobody here to say no to you.
Yeah.
Like out east, totally different story.
Yes.
There's people lined up to say no all the time. So that I mean, I don't know that we could have done Dust Wave. Maybe you could have done it on other places, but I think it would have been hard. There's just kind of a special thing about this place.
Yeah, absolutely. To put it bluntly, it seemed like you really kicked imposter syndrome's ass, which is huge. But I mean, what was it like in those beginning stages, especially with like such a pivot in your career?
Yeah.
You know, for, like pursuing this dream.
Well, okay. So to clarify, I still do software by day.
Yes. Okay.
So that's not going to change. I love making software. I love being part of software teams. I consider myself a technologist, and so one thing I see that's unfortunate, I think, is in the creative world, not just film world, but creative world broadly, is like people are very fearful of embracing like tech. Like for example, like we use this like project management software called Notion, and I'm not sponsored by Notion or whatever. You could use whatever you want, but like basically it's kind of our playground to organize our projects, and I contributed a lot to developing that as a tool for us, and I'm very proud of it because we all have day jobs. Some of us work in the industry, some of us work in other things. So we can't afford to waste time. So like we have to plan, like we have to organize things. And so, I've been on sets where everything is emails and text chains. And like to me, working in software, like that's a nightmare. So like I love like to bring like technology solutions to like figuring out how to get to the good stuff, which is the creative stuff, which is shooting movies, which is performing, which is editing, like all that stuff. That's the good stuff. So how do we like minimize the confusion and stuff of all the planning and the logistics to like make it easier to do that? So I love tech. I love software. In fact, so we do a lot of crowdfunding, right? And in the past we've used Kickstarter, and then this year, so over the holiday, I created our own crowdfunding platform that we can use instead of Kickstarter if we want, right? And it's called The Pool, and it's open source. And so we have a project on there right now that is called The Worst Movie Ever. And we had a goal of $2,500. We already reached our goal. We already reached the first stretch goal. And so that project, it's called The Worst Movie Ever because that project is actually, the film is being crowdsourced by backers. So for example, for $1 you can buy a frame of the movie. So like $1 allows you to put whatever you want in the frame. I mean, no pornography and all that stuff, but whatever you want in the frame, and we have to use it in the movie. Right? So you could buy 24 frames for $24, and you get a whole second of the movie, right? You can buy a sound effect. So I think it's like $20. You can buy a sound effect, and it's a sound effect that we have to use in the movie. The reward that I'm most excited about, and I'm hopeful someone goes for it, is for $1,000. We will have to perform a scene of the movie in whatever language the person wants. So, if, for example, you wanted us to perform a scene in Klingon, let's say.
Yeah.
We would have to do that, right? So it's Kickstarter can't really do that and that kind of project.
Yeah.
And so that for me was like a really cool challenge of like, okay, well, why don't we make something that will work for us and work for this project, and I'll do it. And then we'll open source it and share it with the world. So again, big fan of technology. I think that's something I can bring to the table, and some of our other folks are like super technology forward too. Sorry, I'm ranting. What was your question?
No, that was a great answer. Huge, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like imposter syndrome, like stuff like that. I mean, obviously, all of us have like, like we all like struggle clearly with like confidence and stuff like that. I think for me, I just see like a lot of benefit from sometimes being an outsider, right? Like I didn't go to film school, and like there's no disrespect to anyone that went to film school. Like I know lots of people that went to film school. They're awesome, incredibly talented, and like amazing. But that's not my journey. But also, I bring really interesting, different, cool stuff and a different perspective to the whole process, and I think that's positive and good. And
Absolutely.
so like. Like with there's a lot of stuff I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I've yet to learn. Like I try to be humble and always keep my mind open, my ears open to learning. But I know I have a lot that I can bring to the table that maybe folks that are insiders don't really see or can't really bring.
No, I honestly think that answer was so perfect. I think it was
Totally.
It wasn't even ranting. It honestly answered a few of my like line-up questions.
You're too good.
But it was honestly perfect. And then like even talking about being humble enough to understand the things that you don't, but also being confident enough in the things that you do know, and like how you so beautifully are able to incorporate those things into your creative process with your team. My question, I guess I still kind of hold on to, because what is Dustwave's personal collaboration process when it comes to, because you've already created over 30 different projects, like from like creation of the idea to putting it on?
So yeah, it's usually still pretty like kind of vision driven. Like someone will have a script or a project they want to produce. Like we have a writers group that meets every other week. In fact, when I'm done with here, I'm done here. I'm gonna go to the studio and meet up with the folks at the writers group.
Sweet.
But and that's open to the public. Anyone can come. We have like kind of a queue of scripts. And what we do is we read them, and then we read them together, right, and perform them as much as we possibly can, and then give everyone just a forum for like constructive feedback on like the script itself, or even like production notes on like, hey, this is maybe the way you could like pull this off and stuff like that. And the whole point of the writers group is just to get people notes and get people like coverage on their scripts. And then also, like, for some of us that have a little bit more experience making, like, these things on, like, a super DIY, like, super indie, micro-budget, like, level, like, hey, like, this is maybe the way it can get done. So a lot of our projects actually start in the writers group. So, like, a lot of our projects, like, just come in and then, like, drafts and, people, like, and that is really cool to me. And so it's, just basically like, okay, that person, like that person has a vision, they recruit in the crew, like who they want to work with to like make it happen. And then we just kind of collectively come up with like a fundraising plan, My role in Dustwave has been primarily producer and then also like advising on like fundraising. Because I have a little bit of experience with that. When we did our first crowdfunding campaign, we had zero experience, and I had zero experience, so it was just a lot of guessing. And I think our goal for that first one was $1,500. It was for this project called The Haunters, and it was during the strike. And the reason we did a crowdfunding campaign was we wanted to pay everyone because they hadn't been working during the strike. So our goal was like $1,500 initially. And we did the work, we did research and just trying to figure out, okay, how do we structure this? How do we do this? What are the best practices? We put it out there into the world, and we made the goal on day one. And we were just like, holy shit, like what? Like big surprise. And so that one ended up getting to 3K. And so after that, like we just kind of took the lessons learned from that. And then we've done it subsequently 12 more times. Actually, this is the 14th campaign, the worst movie ever, and that's on our own platform.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the 14th one we've done in like 2 years and change. So my role also has been to kind of like advise people So like we'll come up with a plan. We don't just do crowdfunding. We also do like fundraising events. We did a prom party for a film that that we shot in November. That's primarily about school age kids and stuff. So like we did a prom party. We did the event that I'm most proud of, and it was a complete swing, shot in the dark, and it somehow worked out. And not all the things we do work out, just by the way. I'm very, when I talk to people about these things, it's just like you just have to be prepared for failure. It's okay. Like the best thing we can do is learn, right? But one that was a real crazy swing, and it worked somehow. It was called Horse versus Vamp. Okay, and so what that was one of our members of our collective was a UNM student, and they were working on a film called Horseheads, which was like kind of like a crime comedy thing. Another person in our crew, also a UNM student, and they're both friends, was working on a project called Breakups Suck, which was a kind of vampire girlfriend comedy thing. Anyway, so we were talking about like, well, what are some fundraising things we can do? And Noah, who's the director of Horseheads, was like, what if we did like a competition where like we both competed against each other in a series of events, and then whoever won the competition like won a prize or something like that. And so I was excited. I was like, all right, let's try it. Let's give it a shot. And so what we came up with was 5 competitions. And we showed shorts in between, including Horseheads and at least rough versions of Horseheads and Breakup Suck at the end. And so let me think. The competitions were blow up sumo, which is super fun.
Sick.
Smoking a joint and doing a spelling bee. And shout out to APS. These guys like don't know how to spell. And then you add a joint to the situation. That was
over.
It was tough. Then they did a hot pepper karaoke off. So they ate a hot pepper and then did a karaoke duet, which the crowd voted on. Then they did like a tug of war, and then they did the last one was just, and it's so random, but I love because it's how random it is a set of ping pong, a set to 11. Just like we had a ping pong table and they just played until whoever got 11.
Perfect.
And we did music. It was like a live event. So we had rented a little theater called the Black Cat in Nob Hill. It's like just a little 80-person theater.
Yeah.
Like sold it out. And then someone, I think it was Anna, was one of the producers of the event, had the brilliant idea of like, what if we had water balloons for people to throw at them while they were doing this competition? And so we sold like over 100 water balloons. And so there were water balloons like flying. And the people in the crowd were going nuts. And it's like, I felt like a fight promoter. Like I was in there and just like, it was madness, and people got there, and yeah, it was so cool. And I'm very proud of that one because it was crazy. It was crazy. Like we'd never done anything like that before. We planned and we prepared, and so like for me, I'm always with the stuff I'm working on. I'm always trying to look for stuff like that, because it's stuff we can do. Only we're crazy enough to try, and like I think it just cuts through the noise. Yeah. There's a lot of movies out there. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of ways people can spend their money, and if you're not giving them something different, some weird angle or something, they're not going to come and they're not going to show up. So like we always try to do things like that. We always try to do things a little bit different, and that one was definitely my favorite of all the events we've done. Yeah, that was a good day. That night I definitely went home thinking, all right, we're on to something. I don't know what, but we're on to something.
That's cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
No, I love it. And thank you so much for coming on the show today. And God, we run out of time way too fast because I feel like I have many questions. My brain is just like this ball of spaghetti, and I'm like trying to like think of like
untangle noodle by noodle.
Yeah. But the final question I do want to ask is kind of 2 in 1. One is, does Dustwave have anything that is coming up that people can look out for, as well as where can people find more stuff for Dustwave, find more stuff for you, and
Sure.
like your journey and everything?
Yeah. So as far as Dustwave goes, yeah, like I mentioned, the worst movie ever crowdfunding campaign. It ends February the 15th, so we got like 20 more days. There is a 5K stretch goal that the filmmakers have to get a tattoo of the worst movie ever. So I'm very excited for that. Come on, community, let's get these guys to get a dumb tattoo.
Yes,
please.
For me, I'm super stoked about that. So if you go to pool.dustwave.xyz, you'll see all the stuff related to the pool. You can pledge. You can watch a stupid video on there. It's all good. And then dustwave.xyz is our website. Basically, all of our projects are there, all of our events, a lot of our movies you can see on there. And then the other thing, I guess, just related to Dustwave is recently I wrote a proposal to get some of our indie filmmakers funding to be able to pay their cast and crews tier 1 union wages.
Yes.
And for me, like, it's an important issue because I know a lot of people in the industry, they're really hurting right now. The industry is really down in New Mexico, well, all over, but in New Mexico. And the thing about the film industry is that there's a lot of volatility. And so for me, I see a lot of creative people that are making miracles with nothing. And I see a lot of folks that are working in the industry that are out of work right now. And I think that there's a natural alignment there, right? And if some of our leaders have a little bit of vision and are interested in building some more stability and more resilience in the industry, that I wrote that proposal to that end, and supporting our indie DIY filmmakers. We exist. We're real. We're here. I think some of our leaders don't understand that or don't see that, but we're here. Yeah. We want people's support. We make miracles out of nothing. So you can check that out on Dustwave XYZ in the news. It's called the Indie 50. And then, my Instagram is Alonso_IN. I don't post personal stuff there, but if you're interested in Dustwave stuff, DM me or DM at Wave of Dust, and you can find out more.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. And thank you guys for tuning into another episode of the Creatives Podcast. Once again, my name is Tevin Brown.
And I'm Simone Campbell.
And I would like to thank so much Studio 519 for always letting us film here. I want to thank DanGil for being an amazing producer and all of the stuff he does behind the scenes. Also, please remember, you can check us out on YouTube. You can check us out on Studio 519's channel, Channel 27. You can check us out on Catharsis Media's channel, Channel 96. You can also find us on RM Entertainment. That's RME Free TV, which you can get on your Roku TV and your smartphone devices. Just go right to the App Store and you can find it. Thank you guys so much. Please have a safe night. YouTube, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and have a great night.
Thank you.